Welcome to our tutorial on how to DJ with radio edits properly here on Digital DJ Tips. You know, this is a big subject we get asked about a lot. We've made a course about this. I'll tell you about that in a bit. We've even written a book which goes into a lot of detail about this kind of DJing. It's really close to our hearts for lots and lots of reasons. So I'm going to tell you today about why we think it's a great thing to be able to do, who should be doing this stuff, who should be DJing with the radio edits of songs. Then we're going to talk about how to do it. I'm going to talk you through 5 things you need to do to prepare for doing this kind of DJing, and 5 tricks, 5 skills that are universal, which are going to help you to DJ with just the radio versions of songs. Then I'm going to give you a kind of checklist for when you're doing this so that you can have the best chance of it all sounding right. And then at the end, I'm going to give you some further resources. I'm going to tell you about how you can get a free copy of this book, which is the #1 best-selling book on Amazon on how to DJ, that contains a lot of the things I'm about to teach you, and also how you can take it further if you really want to push it forward and learn this stuff and have lots of tuition on it. Right, so that's what we're covering today. It's a live show, but if you're watching the recording, there's an awful lot of value in here. We pack all that into the first half, and in the second half, we throw it open to our fantastic audience. Pull the computer up and we chat about this exact topic. So if you're watching live, do please comment about this and we will get to your comments afterwards. And if you're watching the recording, ask underneath the video. Again, my team and I will get to you. We want to help you with this stuff. We're the world's leading DJ school. Our job is to help you become a better DJ or better DJ producer. And the way we do that is by helping you, answering questions, getting involved, being part of the community that we've built here. So cool, let's get started. So what do we mean to start with by radio edits? What are radio edits? Radio edits are the versions of songs that you hear on the radio. They're the ones that you hear on Spotify and the playlists that you get on Apple Music and Tidal and so on. They are the versions that everyone knows of the songs that people like. They are the versions that haven't been messed around with for DJs to mix more easily with them. They're not club versions or VIP edits or special remixes. They're just the version everyone knows of big songs. And there's a lot of power in DJing with these versions of songs. Not least, they're the ones everyone wants, right? If you've ever DJed at a mobile or a wedding gig and you started to play remixes or your favorite versions, or, you know, start chopping them up too much, you soon find out that people just want to hear the damn music, right? So these are the versions that people want. Also, they are the easiest ones to get. No one is gonna find it hard to find radio versions of songs. You can buy them on iTunes and Amazon and all those places, or you can get them in your streaming service. And there are streaming services that plug into DJ software. So while unfortunately Spotify and Apple Music don't plug into DJ software, this is Serato. I've got Tidal plugged into Serato here. There's other services as well. Look, the top 200 wedding songs are here. Now these are all the radio versions. You're not getting special remixes or anything here. So if you're in a streaming service in your DJ software and you just want to be playing these tunes, the ones you find are going to be the short radio versions, the 3, 4 minutes, sometimes even 2.5 minutes, sometimes even shorter versions of songs. So these are the ones that it's easy to get your hands onto. They are also suitable for the kind of mixing that you hear DJs doing a lot today, what we call quick mixing. It doesn't mean you have to mix like a song in every 20 seconds, but it means that you're not doing these long, labored beat mixes that take minutes to happen, like, you know, club DJs have done in the past and still do to an extent now when playing house and techno and trance. It's not about that when you're playing radio edits and when you're playing the kind of gigs where this kind of thing makes sense. Mobile gigs, wedding gigs, corporate gigs, and all that. So these kind of songs, they lend themselves to this kind of mixing. Nowadays, a lot of pop songs are literally 2 minutes long. They start with a chorus, not a build-up and a verse, a chorus. And then you get maybe a verse and a chorus and a breakdown and a drop, and they end. That's it. It's all over in 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. These songs are made for the kind of quick mixing that we are about to talk about now. They're almost ready for you to use for this kind of thing. And so radio edits can be good fun to keep the energy up on the dance floor because they get to the point quickly and they do the job for you without any messing about. And look, to be honest with you, this kind of DJing can be an awful lot of fun. It's a purist way of DJing because you're saying, no, give me the versions of the songs that they want, that I know, that we all like, and I'll find a way to DJ with them. I don't need to go and find your edits that have got cheaty beats at the beginning and at the end, or that have been speeded up or slowed down, or that have been made easier for, you know, DJs to just kind of hover over their gear really hesitantly and quickly press, go. And it kind of works because the versions are so obviously made for mixing that all you got to do is press one button. No, I want the versions everyone knows, and I'll find a way of mixing with them. It's a lot of fun. It's a purist way of DJing because it says, hey, I've got the skills to mix anything into anything. Let me show you. Radio edits are a real test of that. And any DJ who's ever gone from DJing in clubs to being asked to DJ, say, a friend's wedding or something, will be able to tell you that this is a very hard ask if you don't know what you're doing to be able to DJ with these kinds of tunes. So just for the challenge, and then when you pull it off, the goosebumps, it's unsurpassed. So for all these reasons, learning how to DJ with radio edits is a really good idea. So if it's a good idea, how do we do it? Well, that's what I'm going to share with you now. I'm going to show you 5 preparation must-dos if you want to DJ this way, and 5 ways of doing it. Now, I can't demonstrate them to you. I can't load up the biggest tunes in the world on the decks here and start showing you how this is done, because if I do, the fun police will have us kicked off YouTube and Facebook before I can say that was a radio edit mix. So never mind, because at the end I'm going to tell you where you can find examples of these that we've put online in a video. I think we've got 6 or 7 of them in this video where you can see exactly what I mean. And you'll see when you look at them, it's not about really complicated, difficult mixes. It's about the stuff that I'm teaching you in this lesson. So take on board what's in this lesson, watch it again if you need to. Go and grab the book. I'll tell you how to get the book for free, which puts a lot of this stuff into writing. This also has videos linked in it, so you can go and see some of the techniques there, but also go and watch the techniques that I show you at the end of this video. Right, the 5 things you need to do to prepare. Now, the first thing is you need to beat grid your songs. Now, a lot of people get hung up about beat gridding. There's nothing to worry about, and let me show you. This is Serato. I've just loaded a couple of songs. I've not looked at them or anything. I just literally loaded them 5 minutes ago. The beat grid here is this grid. You can see a line there, and then there's lines all the way through. This is the waveform of the track. And the lines are showing you where the beats are. And the big lines are showing you where the bars are. Each bar is 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is it. Well done. You now understand beat gridding. It's literally a beat laid over the track with beats and bars. And the reason we beat grid our tracks is that it allows us to easily mix those tracks. Because if the software knows where the beats are, hitting that sync button, doing all the stuff that the equipment's got to make it easy for you is gonna work when you hit these buttons, because the grids are correct. Now, the good news is that your software will guess the grid correctly in 9 times out of 10. And if it gets it wrong, it's something really simple that you can, once you know it, you can correct in a click. But you need to have accurate beat grids on your tracks to do this kind of mixing. The second thing you need is cue points. What are cue points? They're the little points that you put on here when you hit hot cue on these buttons. You get 8 of them. You also get a temporary one. And they mark on the track itself where you want to do something, like a bookmark. So at the very beginning of the track there, I could press the cue point here on this track. I'm going to do it afresh. And then one is marked at the very beginning of that track for me. And what that does is tell my software that, yeah, that's an important point. And then if I press that button again, it'll go back to that point. Even if I put the track off the deck and load something else, even if I put all my gear away, if I come back in 6 months and load that track again, it will remember that point. Cue points are very, very important for quick mixing and for mixing radio edits, because you haven't got time to mess around working out, hey, I can do a big long beat mix here. You need to know where the vocal begins, where the verse begins, where the vocal ends, where the song ends, where the points are that you're going to want to mix in or out of that song. And so going through your songs and adding hot cues or just cue points to the song in places that are important to you is an important part of preparation. The way we teach it here at Digital DJ Tips is color coding your cue points, which you can do in all software, and also labeling them so that you know exactly what they are. And another tip, which is a bit more advanced, is to use cue points to mark places in songs not that you want to jump to or start from or end at, but just that show where something happens. And it could be something like, if I'm mixing into another song that I already know works well with this one, this is the point where I have to press play on the other song. It's like a cheat sheet. It's like putting post-it notes on your records, or in this case on your digital files. It's a really clever way of basically having a memory that's been written down on your record, so you don't have to hold it all in your head. So when you come back to DJ with those tunes, all that information is there. It's a real secret skill of DJs who quick mix and who do this kind of fast, intense mixing with short radio edits, because it shows them where the parts are that are important to them. The next thing you need to do when you're preparing is set up what we call mix loops. Now let me talk to you about how looping works on DJ controllers. In the old days, on a CDJ, these are CDJs over here, old-fashioned CDJs, the very first CDJs that I DJ'd on, they had loops for the first time, and we were like, wow, that thing can loop the end of a song so I can find time to mix in the next song? That's awesome. You used to have to be very careful with the timing, because you used to have to press what's called the in point, still called in point, and the out point. So you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, and then it would loop. And if you got it right, it would sound really good. If you got it wrong, it would go do 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 do, and it'd be like, I've got to try that again. Nowadays, looping is really cool, because nowadays, as long as you've got those beat grids right, the loop will be exactly 2 beats, 4 beats, 8 beats, whatever it is you're looking for, and it'll sound perfect first time. Now, knowing that it'll sound perfect first time and finding those little places in songs, remember these songs are 2 minutes long, 3 minutes long, those little places where something is suitable to just quickly loop will give you a part of the song that then carries on forever. And that is a great thing, because that means you can mix something else over it. So it could be that at the very end of the song it goes do 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 and ends. If you can just loop 2 of those beats at the end, that will carry on forever, and that will give you a bed of music to mix the next track over. We call them mix loops because they are used for mixing, and in the way we teach, they are very, very essential to how to DJ. Now you can also save your loops. Just like you can save your cues, you can save your loops on buttons so that you can quickly go to a loop and it's all there as remembered. You can also set what are called active loops. Active loops are really, really cool because they will trigger automatically every time you play that track. Did you ever have a record, I'm talking to you older DJs here, did you ever have a record back in the day where the final groove of that record went on forever? You played the tune and it went on and on and on. Doom, ch, doom, ch. In other words, the record played and it didn't end. That's called a locked groove. And active loops are just like a locked groove. It means the record can never end, and that's a real fail-safe, a real fallback on very short tunes where you know you're going to want to mix something else in at that point, always. So you can also have something called active loops. Whatever you've got, whatever your equipment has, however you set them, loops are a really important part. So you need to find and set your loops. So we're talking about how to mix with radio edits. We've talked about what we mean by this, why, and we're now talking through 5 preparation points before we talk about 5 skills. The preparation points we've already covered are beat grids, cue points and cue markers, and we've just covered mix loops. Now the next one is key analysis. Key analysis is one of the biggest things that digital DJing has brought to the table that's just changed everything. Key analysis gives you a very simple and accurate alphanumeric value, and not some like, oh, this song's in C sharp minor. None of that. It's just, it gives you a very simple number, which is actually all that concerns us, and a letter as well. So it could be, a song could be deemed to be in the key of 4A or 8B or whatever. Now, key analysis is really cool because it gives you a rule that tells you what other songs in your collection are likely to mix with that one harmonically. In other words, it sounds like 2 musicians playing together in the same key, in the same room, and it all sounding lovely, even though they're 2 separate records. It's a great way when you're doing quick mixing, radio mixing, using radio edits, and very fastly moving between genres and BPMs and styles to glue everything together, because if the keys are similar or compatible, it will sound great. Now, we've got an article over on Digital DJ Tips that explains this in a lot of detail, and if you're interested in learning the basics of key mixing, I do recommend you go over there. Let me teach you how to use the Digital DJ Tips website, because we've got 5,000 articles on here covering everything. So here's a little lesson. Click the magnifying glass in the top corner of the site, and then in the search bar, click what you want. Just type in the word fuzzy. Fuzzy, as in fuzzy key mixing, and the first page will be full of results, and you want the fuzzy key mixing article. This will explain to you how using key mixing, which is built into all DJ software can analyze your music for its musical key. This will explain to you how by using that And then by pressing a single button on your DJ gear, in the case of this piece of DJ gear here, it's master tempo, which will just stop these speeding up, or rather making the tempo go lower and higher, the pitch go lower and higher as you move the tempo up and down. You lock that on, and then you can mix in key. That article explains it better. That article also explains how to mix anything into anything in key, which is pretty cool, and modern DJ software can do that. That's a kind of recent innovation. But key mixing, key analysis and key mixing is really important in getting this right, because it just opens up a whole load of possibilities for doing more dramatic leaps and jumps between like hip hop and house and pop and Latin, all glued together by the sense that it's all the same musicians playing it in the same place and making sure they don't clash with each other. It's a wonderful innovation. If you've not heard or investigated key mixing, I really encourage you to do so. So go find that article. Now, the final one of our 5 things that you need to do when you're preparing to do the kind of mixing with radio edits that you see the best mobile and wedding DJs doing is arrange your music in mini sets. So let me show you what I mean by mini sets. I've got a collection here that we've used for the course we've just made that covers all this stuff. Down this side of my music collection, I've got lots and lots of little sets here, little playlists. So for instance, this one here is called Majestic ABBA Maj. And this contains an ABBA song, Madonna song, and a Boney M song remixed by Majestic. This is a pop disco kind of mini set. I know that when I start playing those tunes, I'm probably going to want to play the rest because they all fit together really nicely. I've got another one here called Fast BPM Pop. Look, we've got Take On Me by a-ha. We've got As It Was by Harry Styles. You can always kind of already hear in your head, can't you, that fast BPM that this kind of pop has got. Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, Overpass Graffiti by Ed Sheeran. Look at these songs. Look at the BPMs of these songs. 169, 171, 174, 178. This is a mini set. If I come into this folder and play one of these, the chances are I'm going to want to play 2 of them, 3 of them, or if people are really loving the style, maybe all 4 of them. I can add other songs to this list when other songs come along in this style. I can take them out when I'm bored of them. These mini sets don't have to be for permanence. And these mini sets are all available to me just by quickly making a playlist in my DJ software. By making mini sets, you take away the worry, and it is a worry when you're playing short radio edits, of having to come up with another song instantly, and then instantly, and then instantly, and then instantly, every 90 seconds or 2 minutes. It's too much. But if you go into a little folder where you've put 5 or 6 songs that you know work well together, you can start playing that folder, relax, play a few of those, and then you're moving from mini set to mini set to mini set throughout your overall performance. And that's a lot more relaxed. That's what gives your audience the idea that here's a DJ where the tracks are just flying out of the decks onto the, flying out of the crates onto the decks. And this DJ is obviously in charge. They're having a great time. It's just working. They just know what to play next all the time. It's all in the preparation. So if you want to DJ with radio edits, make sure you're using mini sets. Okay, we've now covered the preparation side of this. Beat grids, cue points, mix loops, key analysis, and mini sets. But what about the tricks? What about the skills for doing this? So there are plenty of ways of doing this. We've just finished and put on sale a DJ course that contains 31 done for you mixes that you can take and use in your DJing with the biggest songs in the world, which is awesome. I'll tell you about it at the end. So there's loads and loads of ways you can do this, and there's loads of tricks you can pull, loads of techniques, loads of routines, but they're all built on the same basics. And that's what I want to share with you now, the basics. Now, I cover a lot of them in this book. In this book, there is a chapter on basic mixing. It talks you through beat mixing and beat gridding, and then it's got lots of examples about how to use this stuff. If I open the book at random there, see here's some stuff on hot cues, here's some stuff on loops, and then we'll move into talking about how to mix songs together in these styles. This is a book that you need to read if you're interested in this kind of mixing and you haven't learned to do it yet. That said, I'll tell you how to get a copy of this book in a minute. So there's videos in here, there's a kind of written record of everything I'm telling you rather quickly to try and fit it all in the time we've got together now in that book. So here's some of the skills. I'm going to give you 5 of them. The first one is simply basic beat mixing and using the sync button. There's nothing wrong with using the sync button on your DJ gear. It allows you to very quickly sync up 2 tracks and do a nice clean beat mix between them. If anyone tells you that's cheating, if anyone tells you that's wrong, tell them to jog on, because everyone does it. And if you don't do it, well, good luck, just sat there lining your songs up like people did 25 years ago with headphones, when a button can do it for you in a second. It's madness, people telling you that that is cheating. It's absolute madness. It's like people telling you you have to ride a horse because cars are cheating. Just jog on. It's not a problem anymore. Use the sync button and figure out how that works. And the beat gridding that you did is going to help you there. So let's move on then to the second one, which is the simple cut. Now, a cut is very simply where you're playing one song on this deck, you have another song lined up on this deck, and you cut, you move the crossfader, so this deck goes off and this deck comes on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And that's it. I can't play you music, I'd love to, but if I do, I'm going to get taken off the air. So you literally have the deck ready and you stop the other deck and hit play. The whole point of that is you do it on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, do it. And that's the important thing, it's the counting and timing. The cut looks easy, but to get it right involves you practicing the timing. Once you can do the cut, and by the way, the sync and quantize is a feature that kind of helps you and means that if you do it a bit early or a bit late, it'll still sound good. If you use those features, it's going to make it easier for you. And that is used a hell of a lot. I'm sure if you're a quick mixing DJ, a radio edit DJ, you will be nodding along now saying, yep, that's the way I do it most of the time. It's just the basic way of doing it. However, to get it right, involves some of the things we're going to cover at the end when I talk you through our checklist of how to make sure these mixes sound good. The third way of doing it is to use the vinyl skills. Now, if you think about it, digital DJing is basically a digital way of doing what we used to do with our vinyl and with our record decks. So anything that sounds like vinyl is going to sound good on your dance floors. The basic skills are stopping the deck, but having it in your settings so that when you hit stop, it doesn't stop like that, it stops like that. And then it's a really nice way of 1, 2, 3, 4, bang, start the next song. It just sounds like it was meant to be. Another very common way of stopping a track and playing another track is to just spin the deck back like that. And that will make it sound like you spun back a piece of vinyl. As soon as it stops, cut to the other one. And another one is the classic one that you see DJs doing all the time. Your gran will do it when she is saying, hey, this is what DJs do, even your gran, which is this. The baby scratch. It's literally that scratch you do backwards and forwards, which is what we do when we're finding out the beginning beats of a song, right? We're trying to find the first beat of a song. We'll have our headphones on and we'll go like this. There it is, I found it. Hit the cue button, you're ready to go. That movement is a really nice way of introducing songs, and it's a very big quick mixing move that you can use on radio edits. Now, if you're a little bit not sure about this stuff, I don't want to do this, it sounds a bit rubbish, you can use the hot cues. Remember we were talking about setting hot cues so that we can know where the beginning of our songs are or the beginning of our big parts of our songs or whatever. If you have a hot cue at the beginning of a big part of a song, then you can, instead of just hitting play on the hot cue, instead of just pressing the hot cue to start the song playing, you could do a quick tap in, 1, 2, 3, 4, play, like that. And that will give you a nice little syncopated start. And that can make it sound really cool because it makes the dance floor think, hey, this person knows what they're doing a little bit, yep, now the song's playing. We give you examples of all of this, which I'm about to talk to you about and show you where to go and find them. As I say, I can't play them here because if I start playing big pop records and showing you how to do all this, the fun police will have us off before you can say, hey, that was a quick mix. The final one is the effects. Now, DJ gear nowadays has got an awful lot of effects on it. This is actually the new DDJ Flex 4 from Pioneer DJ, and this has got some effects in that aren't on anything else on these knobs here that sound really, really cool on the new button. We've done a review of this, by the way, so if you do want to know about the Pioneer DJ Flex 4, head over to the Digital DJ Tips website where you'll find our review. It's currently the top thing on the website. So in this review, I actually demonstrate all the effects and the mixing stuff that is in this new device. It's a really nice beginner entry-level controller, actually. So anyway, the effects. Now, the 3 big effects that in this mixer, they're down the side here, they're accessible down here, and some DJ gear, it's at the top here. The 3 big effects that you're going to use for Quick mixing for mixing radio edits are reverb, echo, and filter. Filter is one that you're probably aware of if you've ever played with the knob right above the faders on DJ gear. This one here. The filter is a really nice kind of musical sounding EQ, and it just takes the song into the background, making it very easy to play another song. But reverb and echo are effects that you can use to stop the song dead. That's it, song's gone. A reverb will sound like you suddenly took the whole club into a big church just at the moment that you stop the song playing. So instead of the song just going from playing to gone, it goes from playing to gone. And you get that wonderful sound as if you'd played the last note in a church or an aircraft hangar or a big cave. And that's very, very human. Our ears and our brains are used to hearing echoes of that type. And so therefore, it doesn't matter what the song was, it's going to sound nice. And then people are ready for you to play anything you damn well want next. Now, the next part is echo, which is similar to reverb, but this is an actual echo. It goes echo, 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 when you stop the song. And that can be good because it's got its own beat going on. And especially if the next song is at a similar speed and you bring it in and its beat plays over the echo, it can sound really cool. And honestly, it's so simple to do. Practice it half a dozen times and you'll be down with it. You'll be able to do it anytime, anywhere, with any track. And so echo is a very, very good way of also using effects to flip between songs. So basic beat mixing, cutting, vinyl effects, spin backs, stopping the track with a vinyl feel, and also the little baby scratch. Using the cue buttons just to make it more interesting when you tap a song in, and using effects like reverb, echo, and filter are the basic building blocks for the quick mixing that you see DJs doing with radio edits nowadays. So we've covered 5 preparation points and 5 skills. I want to just end off this quick tutorial by talking about choosing, preparing, and mixing songs. When you're actually there, you're actually at a gig, you're playing your songs away on the gear. How do you make sure that what you play next is going to work? It's all very well knowing these techniques and it's all very well being prepared, but how do you know? Surely you can't just take any song that you fancy and throw it on and expect it to work. And no, you can't. And so there are a few rules. So I'm going to run through these very quickly now. I'm going to show you where we go into a lot more detail about this and where my team and I actually teach you. You look over our shoulders, we've got DJ software open, there's sheets you can download with all this stuff on. I'll show you all that in a minute. For now, I just want to quickly tell you what these things are. So, checklist for doing this kind of mixing. 3 things: choosing the songs to play, preparing the songs in the moment, not before you get to the gig, in the moment, and actually what to do to mix them and make it work. When you're choosing songs to play next, really there's 3 things you want to be looking at. The genre. Do you want to change genre or do you want to stay in the same genre? Neither's right or wrong, but consider that. The appeal. So is the song I'm going to play next going to appeal to the people who are on the dance floor now or to a different set of people? Again, no right or wrong. Circulating people on a dance floor, especially at a mobile event or a wedding or a disco party, is a good idea because you've got loads of different types of people there. Not everyone is going to dance to everything, but be aware of the appeal of what you're about to play. We've all made that mistake where we say, oh no, I'll play that next, it's really good. And you play it and the dance floor clears, no one else comes on. Why? Because no one in the room wanted that. So thinking about how the music you're going to play appeals to the people you've got there is important. And the energy level as well. You know, I judge all songs on an energy level of 1 to 5. 1 is like literally mojito, sunbed, you know, on a beach. 5 is if I play too many of these, everyone will leave the dance floor because they're too tired. These are the real bangers, right? And then you've got 2, 3, and 4 in between. I recommend that you use, if your software, mine actually hasn't, that I'm showing you here, if your software has got a column in it that you can put stars in, you can actually star it. Now, one thing you could do is use the comment column like this and put stars against your music like this, just using asterisks, or if you're going to be really flashy, using, you know, other stars, and that can be a way of doing it as well, so that you can quickly sort. So now, now I can quickly sort by these tunes as well inside the software by clicking here, and it will sort them out in star order. That one there is a little bit wrong, but anyway, having an energy level is really important, because do you want to take the energy down or do you want to take the energy up? At least know what you're doing. And as I say, going through your songs and giving them a 1 to 5, any way you want to do it, can be a great way of doing that. So you've chosen a song to play next. How do you prepare that song once you've got it loaded onto the deck? 2 things to think about: the tempo or the speed, because speeding up will generally up the energy, slowing down will generally slow down the energy. Do you want to try and get them at the same speed, or are you going to make a point of slowing down or speeding up? And as I mentioned earlier, the musical key. I haven't got time to talk about musical key here. Go find that fuzzy key mixing article. If you can match the key and the tempo, it's more likely to be that you keep the dance floor busy. If you want to make a point of changing one of those things, again, there's no right or wrong, just be aware. Now, when it comes to actually mixing those tracks in, there's 3 things you need to get right. And this first one, honestly, most beginner DJs and a lot of DJs who should know better always get wrong. Always get wrong. You're playing a really big modern track. You're playing Ferrari by James Hype. Massive hit at the moment. Our tutor, James Hype, has got a hit in the charts. Well done, James. It's not his first. It won't be his last. You're playing Ferrari by James Hype. It's a pumper. James has produced that to the point where there's no gaps. It's loud, it's modern, it's got sub bass, it really rocks. And you want to mix that into a Fleetwood Mac track from 1975. Look, you're going to have to make sure you've got your volumes and your EQs perfect, or else that's going to sound like you're dropping from, you literally leaving the room to play the other track. It'll go so quiet and thin. How do you do it? You use your headphones. You put the cue button on for the track that you're about to mix in, you listen to it in your headphones, then you switch to the other one, then you switch back to that one, and you use your trim, which is the input volume, and your EQs to get it so they sound at roughly the same volume and the bass, mid and treble are balanced in the same way. And if you end up with your EQ like that, something like that, look, that's so much louder than that, bit more treble, bit less mid, a lot more bass. If you end up like that, against the track you're currently playing, there's nothing wrong with that. People think these things are just there to look pretty. These things are there to use, so use them to balance your tracks. If you can get the volume and the EQ right, you're halfway towards a good mix. But the other part is choosing the place to mix the new song in, because one of the rules of mixing with radio edits, one of the rules of quick mixing across multiple genres and BPMs is don't drop into a pile of old boring nonsense when you've been playing something really big. And the golden rule is always drop into new songs at big parts of those songs. It's made easier for you by modern pop music. What were we saying earlier? They start with the chorus a lot of the time. So you're already at a big point, even if you drop in at the first beat, but not always, and certainly not always with older songs. So find the big part. Find the part that's going to make people go, oh, I've had enough of, oh no, I've got to stay for one more, I love this. That's the part, right? Because in all honesty, I've got a DJ friend who I'm not going to name, great friend of mine, and I've admired his career throughout the decades. He would probably be the first to admit he's not the best mixer in the world, but he always knows the part of the song that everyone wants to hear, and he's kind of masked his limitations in mixing by dropping in at the right point every time. And he taught me this lesson just by watching the guy DJ. So always drop into the big points of the songs, because that's going to give you the biggest reaction and cover up any slight errors or wobbles you have in your mixing. So we've covered a lot here. We've covered what radio edits are. We've covered why to mix with them. By the way, I forgot to say when we're talking about why to mix with them, you might not be able to get the DJ edits that have got the beats at the beginning and the beats at the end and all the stuff that makes it easier for you to DJ with, because they're only for pro DJs. You can only get them from download pools where you've got to be a working DJ to get them. So you just might not be able to get them even if you did want to use them. But hey, it's fun not using them. We also talked about 5 ways of preparing and 5 ways of mixing these kinds of tunes. And at the end, I've given you a kind of cheat sheet, kind of checklist to use. Now, I did say I would give you 2 things that you can take away if you're interested in this. I hopefully inspired you a bit and you want to have a go. The first thing is the book. I want to show you how to get a free copy of the book. It's really, really easy. You head over to the Digital DJ Tips website, which I'm going to show you now. And there's 2 ways you can get it. The main easy way of getting the Digital DJ Tips book is to click the new Click Here button banner at the top, or click Join at the top. Either will take you to a page where we explain what you get when you become our latest member. We're the leading online DJ school in the world. By signing up, you will get our Tuesday tips email every week with free lessons, free mixes, guidance, reviews, tutorials from Layback Luke, Jazzy Jeff, DJ Angelo, myself, Steve, all the team here at Digital DJ Tips. And that's a great resource every week to help you become a better DJ. But as a thank you for joining, we'll give you a copy of this. So come and join, it's free to join. But also, if you don't even want to join us, that's fine. There's another way you can get to read this book on the website. Let me show you that. just go to the top of the website and click on the book, and you'll see an online version of the book here. It's exactly the same version of the book that I've been holding in my hand. It's got the same chapters, it's got exactly the same content in it, it's literally word for word the same, but it's just an online version. So if you'd just rather have a look online and read through it with a browser tab, you can do that as well. But do take a look at that, because I cover all the preparation and all the skills stuff that I've just been talking to you about in this book, with links to videos as well. Now, the second place that you can take this further, and this is a really good time to tell you about this, because in the next few hours this is going to stop, so you're in the right place. Well done for being here right now. Is our brand new course. Our brand new course is called Mixing for Mobile and Wedding DJs, and this shows you this kind of DJing. Let me show you how you can find this course and then what's in it and how you can see if it's for you. This is also, by the way, where you can find those audio versions of us mixing a lot of music. So if you think this sounds like fun and you want to hear what it sounds like, I think there's 6 or 7 transitions in the video I'm about to show you where to get it, where you can see this stuff. So you want to go to this URL that I'm going to put on the screen now, djtips.co/radio. Head to djtips.co, not .com.co/radio, and you will land on this page here. This page here is where you will see this video which explains to you about this course, Mixing for Mobile and Wedding DJs. Click play on the video, and it's only a 5-minute video. I'll explain about the course, but I'll also give you lots and lots of examples of the kind of mixing I've been talking about and the kind of mixing you'll learn. Now, the reason I said it's a good time if you're watching us live is that this course is brand new. We've literally launched it last Thursday, and for the next, at the time of recording, 1 day, 17 hours, 23 minutes and 3 seconds, the course is $100 saving, which is a big saving. So do come and have a look at this, have a read of this page, which explains what's in it, who it's for, how it works if you haven't ever bought training from us before, and the modules and so on. Take a look at this and find out if you think it's a good fit for you, and if it is, now is a great time to jump on board. Let me show you what it looks like. This is inside the course. So there's a welcome video from me. You can collapse him out of the way. The course is Get Prepared, Basic Tricks and Techniques. That's what I've just shared with you, these 2 modules here. So I actually talk you through with DJ software and examples the beat gridding, the hot cues, the mix loops, the key mixing and the mini sets here that I was just telling you about earlier. I also talk you through the basic tricks that let you do this stuff, which I was also telling you about earlier. Counting, beat mixing, cuts, vinyl break, spin back, baby scratch, cue play start, and the reverbs, echoes and filters and so on. I also give you the quick mix cheat sheet. You can see this cheat sheet here, which is downloadable. There's a lot of these things have got downloadable stuff that you can grab. So you click this PDF and it'll give you a cheat sheet that will talk you through how all that works. Most of these lessons have got a downloadable sheet to help you. Now, the rest of the course, this is the really exciting bit. Once you've learned that stuff, goes on to 31 done for you transitions. Now remember, this is a mobile DJ course, so this has got the biggest songs in the world in it, and I mean the biggest songs in the world, the ones that mobile DJs will be playing 10 years from now, and it shows you how to mix them really well. So they are divided into creative beat mixes, BPM and genre switches, word plays and other tricks, ballads and sing-alongs, done for you routines, and the good thing about these is that we show you how to do it. So we'll take 2, 3, 4 songs, whatever the number is in the particular trick we're teaching you. We'll give you a video that explains exactly how it works. We'll give you a sheet you can download, which has got all the cue points. It shows you where to set everything up in your software. And we'll give you short videos that you can play along with to get it right. So basically, it's like being in the studio here with me and me teaching you, or Steve, who's the other tutor, how to do these things with the biggest tunes in the world. Once you've done it, you can just put them in your DJ software, and at your next gig, you can start playing tricks like that. So you could buy this course and literally on Saturday night, you could play a mix or 2 that you've learned out of here. And then, as I say, because it's the biggest timeless tunes in the world, they are going to be, we're talking pop, hip hop, dance, Latin, you know, oldies, as you saw there, ballads, sing-alongs, all the big songs. This is stuff that you can then use immediately in your own DJing, with not only with our blessing, we encourage you to. And then the final module, which is I think the bit where it all kind of comes together, is where we show you how to do it. So you've done all the work up to now. This module will not only help you to implement it in your gigs, but it'll show you how to find mix ideas in your own collection. And that means that if you took the training in this course, you'd be able to DJ with radio edits from here on forevermore, because you know the skills and you know how to identify those songs in your collection that are going to work well together, and then you have the skills to do it. So there's two things there: free copy of the book, Join Digital DJ Tips. Go to that URL if you would like to take a look at the course, which is now on sale, just been launched, for the next day and a bit. So it really is worth taking a look at that now if it's something that interests you. Okay, that's your lesson for today. That's the end of the How to DJ with Radio Edits lesson. If you're watching the recording and you'd like to ask a question, do so underneath. My team and I are here to help. If you're with us live, or if you want to hang about on the recording and see what students have got to say and what our community has got to say, then you're very welcome to, because that's what we're going to do now. We're going to jump over live to our questions that are coming in from the community on this stuff. And as you can see, I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them across Facebook, YouTube and Twitch. So I'm not going to get through all of these, it's impossible. However, I will take a look at as many as I can, and my team will get to you, especially if you're on Facebook, because they stay with the video afterwards. My team will get to you when they can shortly. So even if you ask your question and we don't answer it, hey, not the end of the world. So hello to DJ Jammy Dodger, who says first time watching. Oh, it's very good to have you here, DJ Jammy Dodger. Good luck in the States. A few of you saying it's hurricanes looming here in Florida, but it's also election day. Do I go out and vote? Do I stay in and stay safe? Decisions, people. Hello to Nufe in Tasmania. Hello to Andres, who says it's a long time since I've been on a live stream, so that's cool. So right, let us jump in with any questions or any feedback you have on this. Reza on Facebook says, you've got no idea how thankful I am to you for this topic, Phil. It's a big one. Not everyone wants to join subscription services that cost loads of money and then learn to mix, dance music that no one else knows what it is anyway. They just want to get the big tunes that they know and mix them. So yeah, it is a big topic, so I'm glad you're enjoying this. Those who experienced DJing back in the 90s, says Nudaze, know how to get the job done when it's the original. It's a skill that maybe is getting a bit lost. Well, we're helping to bring it back. Thank you for that comment. Looping the first couple of beats of the song. This is talking about mix loops from Internet Shakil on YouTube. Is a must for me. Yep, you can loop the beginning of a song, especially if it starts very quickly, to give you a mix loop to mix into. DJ Yongi says, yep, same for me. The Rockers, I've got to share a story here. We were live at 9 o'clock this morning in Central Europe, where we are, which is 8 a.m. London. And of course, that's like 3 a.m. Over in East Coast America. And the Rocker says, I couldn't believe I was hearing my favorite intro music at 3 this morning. The reason we were live was that we were talking about this new Pioneer controller. And Pioneer being a Japanese company, they launched this at 8 a.m. London, 9 a.m. Eastern, which is towards the end of the day in Japan, which is what they always do. So I came into the studio this morning and immediately hit the live button, which is probably why my voice is starting to fail me a little bit now. So that's why we were live earlier. So Internet Shakil says, after reading the book and watching a good number of videos, the most underrated part of Phil's teaching style is how he always uses the same words and terms to describe something, i.e. mix loops. We try very hard to give things non-threatening names. So thank you for picking up on that, Internet Shakil. A lot of people don't know we're a DJ school, because with that big website that you see online and because we do an awful lot of free stuff, we're actually the biggest DJ school in the world. We've got 34,000 students. We've got Jazzy Jeff, we've got James Hype, we've got Layback Luke, DJ Angelo as our tutors. We are a huge DJ school. We just keep it in the background. So I'm glad that you appreciate the way that we teach there. Thank you for that. So You Don't Like My Music says, if you're using key shift, try not to shift your songs more than 2 semitones because it sounds bad. That is what the fuzzy key mixing I was telling you about earlier is all about. That is what our technique teaches you, how to key shift, as in move your songs up or down a note or two in order to make them match the other song that you're playing, but not so far that it sounds bad. That's the whole point of fuzzy key mixing. And the funny thing is, when we've been teaching that for 6 or 7 years, as soon as DJ Gear could actually move the key of the song, the pitch of the song, without moving the tempo, it became possible to do that for everyone, not just using specialized software and stuff. And the first manufacturer who put that into a piece of DJ Gear was Pioneer DJ on the new CDJ 3000s. We were so chuffed that they put fuzzy key mixing in there. So we've been teaching it forever. And if you hit key sync on a CDJ 3000, it will never move the song more than 2 notes up or down. Whereas if you hit key sync on anything else, it will sometimes move the song ridiculously up or down. So it sounds rubbish. Pioneer DJ got it right. Algorithms DJ Pro also have now switched to fuzzy key mixing, and I believe the rest of the industry will as well. I'm always on at them to do so. It worked with Algorithms DJ Pro because they told me, we've done it, thank you. And they even called it fuzzy key mixing, which is what we call it. So another one of those terms that we invented. So yeah, awesome to see that. But you're quite right, you should never change the key more than a note or 2 up or down. Few of you giving me thumbs up here for this whole idea that it doesn't matter if you use sync. I've never understood some people's fetish for manual beat mixing. It's not cheating, says DJ Stu, it's just boring. It's only boring if you don't do anything else with the extra time you make for yourself. But if you're mixing very fast, if you're mixing between different genres and styles, and you're also at an event where you're not just the DJ, you're the MC, you're looking after people, you're listening to requests, you're putting coats behind the counter and stuff, you don't want to be sat there spending forever trying to get a BPM from 129 to 127.3. Testing, when a bloody button can do it for you. That's my point. You know, it's monkey work. It's not the hard bit of DJing. The hard bit is picking the right tunes, keeping the vibe going, having those musical inspirations and making the moments, not getting the songs to the same speed. That bird has definitely flown. Okay, let's grab another comment from your comments coming in here. Oh, so many of you talking about the sync button. It saves your butt when you're distracted in the middle of beat mixing. Well, that's true. You can just tap it again and it will mark it up for you. Let's try and find something. There's so many of you involved in this beat mixing debate. Every time you mention beat mixing, same as every time you mention Mac versus PC, you get 50 or 60 comments of people arguing about which is right. As far as Digital DJ Tips is concerned, the bird has flown and beat mixing with the button is absolutely fine. Alex says, I have the fast BPM pop playlist as well. Awesome, Alex, good to hear that. What else have we got live? I'm probably going to stop soon because I think we've covered most of the questions you were asking about this. Often the radio edits are mastered differently and sound much punchier. So thank you for sharing that as well. Another thumbs up for using the radio edits there. And 1 or 2 more. Let's just see if there's anything else that's new here. But I think we've probably covered it all. Michael says, I've been DJing for a long time and I keep current by scooping up these courses when they come out. And this one even comes with a playlist. Cool add-on, Phil. Yeah, there's a text playlist, but also a Tidal playlist that you can plug straight into your software, which is pretty cool. Thank you for pointing that out, doing a bit of selling for me there. Let's end on this one from Jacob, who is talking, no, Jacob's talking about DJ gear as well. And a few of you are saying, yeah, fully agree with you, but if you're just using sync and not doing anything else, it's a bit boring. Yes, I agree with you, it is, but hopefully I've given you some tips here and shown you that you don't have to just use sync. In fact, you can do some really cool stuff. Remember that you can watch the kind of mixing and hear the kind of mixing I'm talking about if you head over to the Digital DJ Tips website and go to this page here, djtips.co/radio, or as I say, go to the website, and on the website just click on the big banner, which you'll find all over the place for our new course, Mixing for Mobile and Wedding DJs. Here it is, click on there, it'll drop you through to the page. Watch that video where you can see me demonstrating the stuff that we're talking about here, and if you think it looks like a good course for you, it would be a phenomenal investment in your DJing. If you're a mobile DJ who's always wanted to do this, or you're a club DJ who wants to switch to mobile DJing, but you're scared of mixing pop music and multi-genre, or you're just a hobby DJ, I say just, hobby DJs are awesome, who wants to learn some new skills, it could be the course for you. 1 day and a few hours left, people, so don't hang about if you're interested in it. Right, I'm done here today. That's my second live stream of the day. It's quite enough for me. Thank you very much for watching. We're back next week on... We're back this week on Thursday for our Any Questions, so join me at 3 p.m. London, which is, I think it's 10 a.m, might still be 11 a.m. Eastern, depending on the clocks. But anyway, 3 p.m. London for our any questions. You can ask anything. Lots of questions in there today that weren't related to the topic. So we'll bounce those to Thursday. And then next week, next Tuesday, back at the same time, same place for another tuition, another live show where I try and teach you something. It could be a review, it could be a skill, who knows? We decide this stuff pretty late on every week. But come then, I'd love to see you. And don't forget, you've only got hours left if you're interested in this. So don't hang about. djtips.co/radio to learn how to do the stuff we've talked about today. Thank you for watching. Now get good, get out there, make the moments. We'll see you again very soon.